Good morning, everyone. This is Diane. I have a journal to show you today. This journal is listed in my shop when this video goes up. So if you're interested in it, you can follow the link below to my shop on Etsy called Pretty Pink Cottage. This journal is called Tulip Time, and it is tied with this goldish yellow sari silk, and it is made out of a vintage children's storybook with this gorgeous image of a flower lady in Holland with her flower cart and some children there. Maybe they're purchasing some flowers for their mother, I don't know. But you can see there is some wear where some of the color has been worn off, and there's a little dig right there and a little one right there. So it is a vintage book. I just wanted to point out those imperfections, which I think add to the charm. And there's the back, and it is patterned to look like leather in a kind of a tannish yellow color. I put a little piece of yellow gingham there, and bright yellow rickrack, and this red patterned fabric. And there was a spot here that I didn't like, a mark on it, so I covered it with more of the gingham and this pretty embroidered trim and a yo-yo. I don't know if I said, but it measures 7 by 9.5 inches, so it's a good size book. It has a 2-inch spine. I was going to try to keep it to 1.5, but no, it's 2 inches. I kept adding stuff. I'm counting the pages. Ten pages in each signature, so like 120 pages front and back in the whole book. I was going to use a hitch fastener for this one, but I didn't want to puncture this, so we ended up tying it with sari silk. This is a beautiful piece of cross stitch that someone sent me in a Happy Mail, and I thought it would make a wonderful pocket, so I glued it on as a pocket. It was had been attached to a piece of very sturdy cardboard, like illustration board, and so I had removed it from that, but it was folded very neatly around those edges, so I just stitched around, and top is just to hold that top folded down, and then it just made a really nice pocket. It was just the right size. And I just put this ledger card in there because I like the green type with this book. So I wanted to point out that the front has a lot of red and yellow. There's a lot of red and yellow in her cart. There's also some blue. But there's a lot of pink inside the journal along with the red and yellow. So I used pink here to kind of introduce your eye to some pink as well as the red and yellow. I'm going to try to remember to talk a little bit about my color choices in here. I did use red and yellow and pink, and then I used a spring green for the foliage of the tulips. This is an image from a children's activity book, a vintage one, and this is a digital of it. And I backed it with cardstock, and it makes a very adorable tuck spot pocket. I had to add a little bit to my scrapbook paper to make it wide enough, since the book is 7 inches wide. I believe I made my pages about 6.5 inches wide. This is an embossed note card that I just got in a Happy Mail, and it had said something in there. I don't remember. I think it might have said thank you, but I just put a little label on there and stamped the word giggle. It's a beautiful card, lots of room for writing, and I thought it looked really nice framing her head. There's some eyelet on the edge there. I did some stenciling on some of the pages. There are pages from Ideals books in here, and music paper, scrapbook paper, some other kinds of paper you'll see as we go through. I added this pink piece of pink note paper that I had just gotten at an estate sale. This was the purpose I got it for, to put down as journal spots. I used a digital kit. It was mostly the ephemera, but there were 3 pages So each signature got one journal page. And the kit is called Dearest Tulip, and it's from Chapter 1 Papers. I will try to link it below. So part of the ephemera from that kit was this little pocket and this little tag to go into it. And these are also elements from that kit. This is a piece of stationery. It's got lines on it. That also came from that estate sale. This is a pocket that I made on one of my recent Stashistry weekend videos, and it's just a scrap of pink cardstock with a scrap of lace sewn to it and another little piece of lace sewn to the bottom. And I thought it was great for this journal. So I put it on the music paper and tucked in a couple of cards. There are some stickers from the Antiquarian sticker book. There are a couple pieces of vintage linen, I think actually 3 pieces of vintage linen embroidered with tulips. So here's one of them. It's very pretty. So this introduces some purple, some lilac color to the journal also. I made a tiny, well not tiny, but it's a organza yellow bow. And underneath here you can write on this pink ledger page or receipt page from an estate sale company. I made some pockets with my cut-off pieces, added some lace trim to the edge of that. And my fussy cuts are mostly from Eclectic Eggplant on Etsy, from the Spring Garden Fussy Cut Kit. This is an antique postcard. It's in pretty good condition. That one corner is a little bit bent, but it's dated 1909. And there's a little envelope from the kit with a card inside. And then there's this piece of paper with a 3D grid on it. Hope you can see it. And I left it very wide, so it's got a big flap, and I just added a strip from the kit for an embellishment there. I think I was gifted these tulip paper clips. Maybe I bought them on clearance at Hobby Lobby, I don't remember. But I used all of them. I think there were 6, and I just found them last night. And I thought, oh, I need to include these in the journal. So this was like a bonus one that I just clipped to the edge of this page so that you can clip something you want to save on there. This is from a garden binder, all about tulips. Here's one of the pages from Chapter 31 Papers. It had 3 different designs for pages, and then one design with the lined pages, with the lines on it. So this is backing all 3 of those pages, so that you have lines to write on. This one is another pieced together page with a pocket made from a cut-off piece, and I added a little baby rickrack there, and a fussy cut. And I had made these tags on a video. Stamped the background in a gray stays-on ink, and put a pretty doily on there. And this is from a piece of tissue paper, and it's all Mod Podged. This is bias tape. No, seam binding. I was right the first time. It's seam binding, but it's in a 1/4 inch size instead of the 1/2 inch size. More from Eclectic Eggplant. I think they're so pretty. Some stenciling and a really pretty piece of springtime stationery. There's a snail, some violets, mushrooms, and on this side is a deer and some bunnies. Here's another piece of vintage embroidery that I turned into a little pocket here. Made a card that you can write on, and this is just a playing card with a pretty tulip on it. There's another sticker. I had clipped my 3 tulip greeting cards to the edge of a page, but I wasn't sure if I was going to leave them that way. It's not one of my favorite things to do, just clipping things to the page. I do it some. But I decided to make pockets, so I constructed pockets out of a couple of pieces for these cards. So in this case, I used a digital, which I'm not sure where it came from, and this little scrap, which I edge punched and added one of the fussy cuts. It's a tulip that's kind of, the petals are falling off. And then this is a really pretty greeting card, a basket of flowers, daffodils and tulips. You may want to glue this down if you don't want it to keep getting caught, but I didn't glue it down because this is how it came. So you do with it what you want, but it's got this vellum on the top of it with white embossing, and I just think it's so pretty. Here is a banner that I made with a book page, vintage book page, and a punch out and a digital stamp with tulips on it. This is a vellum from a greeting card. The greeting card had, it opened up, it was a trifold, so it had two sections that had vellum on it, so I was able to use both pieces. I just sewed it on. You can put a picture under here or put a page to write on. There's some lace up there. And this is a stencil, and this is a stencil I drew through the stencil to create those lines for writing, but you have all the space for writing too. And on the back of the signature is the pocket I made with a piece of spring green cardstock that I ran through my embosser with a polka dot texture folder and fussy cut. And I made these giant tags on video also, stamping again in the background with permanent ink, waterproof ink, and then I Mod Podged pieces of napkin onto it. So there's lots of space for writing on that. Second signature has this pocket that I created from images, an image from the cover of an Ideals book with a pot of tulips. And this is from the greenhouse gardening cards, and this is dated 1977. An Ideals book again with a paper clip on there. Another little pocket, stationery. And another of the pockets that I made in my scrapistry episode with the leftover cardstock, a little scrap of lace, and I added a Tim Holtz embellishment on there. And these are from the Dearest Tulip journal kit, digital kit. I made a fabric flip with this Feedsack fabric that has tulips on it. And this is from a vintage address book. I made a pocket again with the cut-off piece and added the trim, and this is a digital from the kit. And this, I'm not sure where it came from, but I just added that on for a little extra journaling spot. And I have this trifold card that you can write on. And this is a digital from a vintage antique postcard that I had. I just kind of cut it the way it was torn to make it. And I did not age it. I was going to, but I didn't. I spent a lot more time on this book than I really thought I would. But I just love that image, and she's got, because of her Dutch costume and the costumes here, I used her, but there's also tulips on the windowsill. There's another digital strip there. Another Mod Podged tag. Oh, I need to ink around that. On the other one, I used green ink and inked around the edge and then just rubbed it over the doily to make it stand out more. So I will do that. And I used one of the digital strips to decorate this pocket. I used the tulip paper clip on this note card. I think it was supposed to be folded this way because that's where you put the stamp and the address. But I wanted this to be on the outside, so I folded it the other way. And it's got puppy dogs chasing a butterfly. There's a squirrel and a bird and a bunny and tulips, and it's just a beautiful, happy spring scene. And I just closed that flap with the paper clip. Again, a stencil here and some drawn lines through a stencil. This one you would get to have fun writing like that if you wanted to. Here's another of the embroidery pieces. I don't know if those are supposed to be tulips, but they could be, so they are in this journal. And this was cut off of a calendar from 2009. You get a recipe here. It's a complete recipe for extra special chicken from the Ideals book. So I just went through and added the fussy cuts. When I had most of the journal all done, I went back and added fussy cuts where I would normally add rubber stamps. This is from an Ideals book also. I backed it onto cardstock, and here's the card that goes in it. It's got some tulips there and there. And it was an Easter card from a mother to her son. And there's no date. I wonder if something was inserted in there at one time. You could maybe tuck a little tiny something in there. There's another banner cluster that I made, and this one is a real postage stamp. I only had 2 of the vellum pieces from the greeting card with the tulip on it, so I just cut this green vellum that has ferns printed on it, and I added a fussy cut to it. Put this pretty piece of lace on it. There's a poem here called Tulip Days, and this stenciling journal mark or journal spot is in a circle. That'll be fun. There's another embossed pocket in yellow. Just think it looks so bright and cheery. And another tag that I Mod Podged and stamped the background. And the last signature has this antique piece. This is a real vintage tulip piece from a magazine or a seed catalog or bulb catalog or something. And I backed it onto cardstock so it's nice and sturdy now. And I put this pretty greeting card in there. It looks like it's all embroidered. I think all 3 of those greeting cards are Easter cards. Some tulips in the rain on that Ideals page. And another little pocket. And another pocket that I created with scraps and Tim Holtz ephemera piece. And the last piece, I think, of the embroidered linen, at least for a fabric flip. I think there's another pocket in here, but so that's really pretty colors in that with the yellow behind it. And then this was a card I just got in Happy Mail. I just cut the front off the card. I liked the shape of it, and I just glued this onto the back of it because it's embossed, and so it would have been rough to write on. This will help. So it adds some nice color and also allows you to write on the back. I like this woven type of ribbon that I put on the border of that pocket. This one is actually the cover of a Ideals book, the back cover, and there's a paper clip on there. And on the other side is some girls getting ready to fly a kite. There's another tag. I just love this fussy cut piece. It's got strawberries on it. Love the colors. I'm not talking too much about the colors. I thought there was something in here that I was going to address regarding my color choice, but either I forgot about it or haven't gotten to it yet. But I do like the spring green to go along with the stems of the tulips. And then I did have a card in here with one of these kind of cards, but it had ducks in the rain wearing raincoats. But since I'm not making 2 journals, I pulled this one back out. I was going to put this one in the second journal. So I replaced the ducks with this beautiful spring scene. It's got pinks and turquoise and a little bit of green, and of course the brown nature images. And I clipped that with a paper clip in a tulip shape. Here's another piece of embroidered linen that I made into a pocket. And it's got a couple pieces from the digital kit. This is a little booklet and a playing card. And here's another pocket that I constructed out of pieces that I had. This is what I wanted to talk about with color. So I had some of these die cut pocket pieces that I had made with leftover cardstock, and I had a pink one that I was going to use, but because of the red here, I thought the red would look better, so I actually made a card. Even though I had a couple pink ones that I could have used, I had quite a few pink ones. I went and made a red one just because I thought it looked better. Because I don't usually use red and pink together, but with the tulips, you get red tulips and you get pink tulips. So there's pink here and red here, so I wanted to have some more red in this pocket. And there's a tag there, so I created this as an extra tuck spot. And then this striking card, beautiful colors in this card with the primary colors. This one's a birthday card. And it's quite big. So I didn't seal this part. I didn't glue that down just so it would be easier to get that in and out. And there's another cluster with a real stamp. And the last piece of tulip vellum with the pink lace at the top. I've got some daffodils here, but tulips on that side. And then another textured embossed card and stamped and Mod Podged card tag. And on the back I used a page from Ideals with a single pink tulip surrounded by all that pretty green. And I put on a little pocket from the kit and added this card from the kit and this little tag with my signature on it. Along with this book will come the leftover pieces from the kit, which I paper clipped together with the last tulip paper clip, and some cut-off pieces that you can make ephemera. That doesn't belong in there. But you can make ephemera. So this is called, like I said, it's called Tulip Time, and it is in my shop unless someone has already been there and made their purchase. So I hope you like this book. It was a joy to make with the pretty colors and thinking spring. While I made this journal, we went from warm weather to snow and cold to warm weather again. So typical of March. But yeah, it's nice to think of spring and make a book decorated with tulips. I hope you like it, and please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up and all of that good stuff, and pay a visit to my shop if you would. Thanks for watching. Have a creative day today. Bye bye.